Today is, I have to say, an incredibly proud moment for the interiors team. There's an awful lot of people, engineers, people in our supply base. We have really a worldwide network of partners and suppliers who have made all this possible.
Why do more of a developed interior than you have in the past? What's the reason for that?
I think it really was probably a bold decision. The cost associated with it, the disruption really across the flight test program is fairly significant. If you were given a chance to take a look at the other airplanes, they're basically bare bones. Why it's so important to us is that it really does give us the best opportunity to make sure that the airlines will get a satisfactory product. So I think more than anything, the overwhelming factor was how can we be assured, since we're introducing new technologies and architecture that we haven't done before, how can we be assured that we could learn as much as we can early on in the program and apply it to the end product for the airlines. So we have a great opportunity because we're still early in the flight test program, take all the lessons that we're learning and get them incorporated into the first airplanes.
First of all, why is this plane going to fly after number 4, first of all?
I can answer that, maybe Yvonne, I don't know if you want to tackle that in general, but in general, again, each airplane has a purpose in the flight test program. By moving airplane number 4 ahead, we are able to reprioritize some testing that we determined to be critical to the flight test program. And they fly very close to each other, and it's actually a fairly insignificant difference.
Yeah, airplane 4 will go like a week to 10 days after, in just a couple of weeks.
And question about the color. You mentioned a full spectrum of lighting, a full spectrum of color in the lighting, and yet all the pictures we've ever seen have always been blue lighting.
Right.
So is there a full spectrum or is it blue lighting?
All the blue you want. So blue is a signature color for Boeing. We do find, and Blake mentioned the research that we've done, it does actually have the full capability to support other colors, as well as colors that most people might even find incredibly obnoxious on an airplane. So you'll see in the airplane, we have one section that's set up with white lights. In the meal service area, it's really in the yellow spectrum color, and then in the back end is set up with blue.
I think that's why you typically see blue, at least in our material, is that we highly recommend to our airlines that they utilize a blue for the boarding process because it helps create a sense of even greater height overhead. There's also a nice analogy to sky and clouds, and it goes back to that, how can we reconnect people to this magic of flying? But the system is full color capable. There are 14 different standard scenes that actually involve quite a few different colors. And as Tom mentioned, the meal scenes are a much warmer light, because food looks better under warmer light than it does under cooler.
Mm-hmm. If I could squeeze in one more question on separate. As I understand it, it's obviously the airlines that choose the interiors and not Boeing. So how is it that you determine this interior now? Is it just the basic architecture, the side walls, whereas when we actually fly a service flight of the first 787, the seats and galleys and everything else may be quite different than what we see today. Could you clarify that?
Sure. That's a great question. The airline has a lot to say about what goes into an interior. There are aspects of it that are basic or standard to the airplane. And what we've done on the 787, it's called a two-tier architecture. We made everything behind the scenes basic and stable. Every airplane essentially has sort of the same framework behind it. The stowage bins, we offer a number of different options for the airlines to select in terms of the stowage bin size, in terms of raised ceilings. Again, we're trying to accommodate probably the greatest amount of variability you'd see is in the seating choices they'll make. Some airlines are looking at higher density configuration for their route structure. Some of them will be in a longer haul where they might have 3 classes. And when the airline starts making those choices, it starts the snowball effect of the collateral changes they might have. They'll choose the number of galleys they need, the number of lavatories they need. But things like the lighting system, sort of the fundamentals behind the interior will be a part of every 787 we deliver.
Just a couple questions. With regard to economy class seats, are they only selectable from the catalog, or?
That's right. On the 787, we've developed a catalog selection. Again, the airlines have the choices, and we've populated the catalog with products from most of the major suppliers, not all of them. One of the things that we've tried to do on the 787 with the high production rates is continue to drive stability in the production system. And one area that we found in working with the airlines where they were comfortable with that type of stability was in the economy class seats.
But that doesn't extend to business and first, correct?
No, it doesn't. We do offer a catalog selectable business class seats, but we also give the airlines the option of installing their preferred seat.
And just with respect to in-flight entertainment, Thales and Panasonic are obviously selected, but is there anybody else that you guys would be willing to consider, or are they the two choices?
There are two, and that's another decision that we made with the airlines, is that we did add some stability to the IFE system. Panasonic and Thales are the two options that we offer to the airlines.
Are we going to see them today on the aircraft, or are they not
no,
on?
It's not configured with IFE.
What aircraft will the IFE?
The first airplanes will have IFE systems.
But for test purposes, which test aircraft?
We'll actually run when we configure the first deliverable airplane, or actually the first couple deliverable airplanes, they'll have additional testing that's done for the specific airline choices that have been made.
Thank you.
Are you going to be able to sleep on this plane and enjoy a flight even if there is a passenger in the seat next to you?
Not on the test plane.
You'll see the seats on the airplane are perfect for a Boeing employee on a test flight. It's luxury.
Any other questions?
Are the coach seats, are the seat pitches basically an airline seat pitch, or are they?
Yeah, absolutely.
So,
the airlines have the full choice of seat pitches.
I understand that, but for this example on the test airplane, are these airline seat pitches, or are they test
Worst,
airplane
worst
seat
case
pitches?
scenario,
Yeah.
they're both ends of the spectrum for typical economy class. So what you'll see in the typical premium set, I believe, is at 34 inches of pitch, which would be a high pitch for economy class. And in the aft section, I believe it's at 30 inches of pitch, which typically would be the worst case scenario.
Yeah. And
Let's
those
hope
were,
this, right?
again, those were more dictated by the number of passengers that we needed to have on the airplane for certain tests that we were going to run.
Have you actually started bringing customer groups in through this test plane number 3?
Airplane number 3. There's been a couple airlines, but this is the first real showing of it.
Okay, I think that wraps it up.
Okay,
We'll
thank you.
go ahead.